Hi, Book2. Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and I just went to the roast office. I cannot justify it except for the fact that I did donate some books to them. So, but I probably should not have gone, because I went over a little over the budget I've set for myself quite a bit this time around. But, I mean, I'll just lower my budget next month. But, I mean, it's hard because there's not a lot to do around here, and I don't have a lot of hobbies. I just read and watch TV and, get on YouTube. And then I work. So, but I really need to get into coloring because I do have a bunch of coloring books. And I have colored a little bit. I'll get these moods to color. And I recently, a couple weeks ago, got a Bridgerton related one. Like more season 1, not a season. There's no season 2 coloring book yet, but I would definitely get it if there was. So I really need to get into that. That way, maybe I'll have at least another hobby other than reading. But yeah, and the problem with that is that I justify like needing to get out of the house as an excuse to go book shopping, and it's not, I mean, buying books is not necessarily the worst habit in the world, but, and there are worse things you can be addicted to, but at the same time, it can put a damage to your money, so, and I have so many books, I don't have any room, that's why I never have multiple copies, I never have multiple copies. On occasion, I might be transitioning through copies, especially the last couple years I've been transitioning between different copies because I can't narrow down which editions of certain classics do I like better. So enough about me venting about my, bad habits. Let's show you what I ended up picking up. And this was kind of inspired by Caroline Marie Reeds and Emma Reeds. I do not know what her channel, I think it's just Emmy, her channel name. But yeah, this is kind of inspired by them a little bit. Only except for one of these books was not technically inspired by them, but I'm sure. So first I got the poems by the Bronte Sisters. So I've been kind of going through their books. Although I've come to realize I did not love Agnes Grey or Villette, so I actually just gave Villette to the used bookstore and traded it for this one. Because I did not love those. And like it's hard to compare those to like Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights, so which I feel bad. But I hear the Tenant Field Hall is really great. It's a very feminist book, so I will probably like that one. So at least I'll like that book by Anne Bronte. But this is the early work of Charlotte, Emily, and Anne. So I don't know if Bronwell didn't really wrote any. I mean, I think he helped them with the Glassdown and coming up with all that, which is like their childhood fantasy world that they create. And there's a book. I would love to get that book too, but this is all their poems. And it says here a reprint of the Brontes for a rare first book. And there's, I guess, a society, like how they have, I can't remember what I heard that, because I know I read somewhere or like, it was on a video just talking about the Persuasion, the latest adaptation, which is really bad apparently, and the narrator talked about there is a Jane Austen fan club, and they do have a name, so I guess the Bronte Society, maybe that is kind of like that. But yeah, it talks about that on the back of the book. The Bronte Society is one of the most important literary societies in the English-speaking world. It was founded in 1893 to bring closer together all who honor the Bronte sisters, to act as guardian of such letters, writings, and personal belongings, as could be acquired for the Parsonage Museum and to dispel the unhealthy cloud of legend and fake sentiment that was closing around the Bronte story. I wonder if you could still do that. You know, this is an old book, but I would love to do that. See, that's what I want to do. Like, as far as vacations, like, I don't care, you know, like, as far as going on vacation, or if I ever got married, and, you know, that I would want to go on my honeymoon to, like, Europe, and do, like, these kinds of things, like, go to the Bronte Museum, or, you know, go to the places where Jane Austen, her favorite places, like Bath, and then there's places, like, in, you know, upstate New York that I would love to go, like Sleepy Hollow, Ipswich. I think that's an actual place. That's what I want to do for, like, I don't care about the beach. I mean, the beach is nice and all, and I would still go, like, if my family wanted to go to a beach house. And I do like, I mean, it is nice. Like, the one time we went to the Outer Banks, I did like that. That beach house was really cool, and I like the feeling of the beach house. Like, the birds, all the birds that hang out at the water, you know, the seagulls and stuff, making, you know, chirping and stuff, and, you know, the sound of the waves crashing, and just the beautiful salty air, this, you know, the salty air, inhaling that, and I do like that atmosphere, but I almost would rather do, like, a European tour, like, traveling through Europe and going to all these museums and stuff. And my mom actually agreed with me, because we were talking about that, and although I still would want to go to the place we first started talking about, which was Ireland. Like, my dad met this Irish gentleman last night at the pool, and they were talking, and I was, you know, joking and saying, did he convince you to go to Ireland? Because for some random reason, and even though he's a golfer, he doesn't care about going to Ireland or Scotland, where golf was kind of invented. And, so I was talking to my mom about it, because I mentioned it, and how I was kind of, you know, and we talked about going to Ireland and Portugal, and, you know, I mentioned that he really wants to take us to Portugal, or specifically my mom. And then I started thinking about how, you know, I really want to go to, like, Bath and Sussex, and, what's that? And Steventon, and basically all the places that are connected to Jane Austen. And even she had said, actually, I would rather do that than go to Ireland, because she wants to go to see the museums and stuff like that. So that got me excited, because even if I don't ever get to go to Ireland, I would love, then at least I know that she would want to go do that. And it'd be kind of cool to, oh, and also Salzburg and Rome. Salzburg, obviously, for the Sound of Music, and Rome, because, you know, Juliet, you know, the Caesars and all that, because that place has so much history. But that's my idea of a fun time, just exploring. They go to the parties and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so there is that. So this will be kind of fun. And also, it's kind of cute. You know, the size and everything. The whole, this smaller size. And I definitely want to get more into plays and I'm still trying to get more into plays and poetry. And actually, I found this in my book. Because I got this from a used bookstore. So, I hope that with the brave and strong, my portioned task might lie, to toil amid the busy throng, with purpose pure and high. And that's Anne Bronte, which that was so cool that this person had this in here. It surprises me sometimes when I see this stuff. I'm like, why would you want to get rid of that? But you know what that also means, that if they donated it, it also means that I might come across it one day. So it's a cheaper way to get this, because even on third books, it's still, you know, like, depending on what edition you get, you know, if you get a good or very good or just like new, You know, it might be more. It might even at thrift books, it might still be more expensive at the roast office at the used bookshop. So okay, there's that. And then these other three are ones, like I said, that are inspired by Caroline Marie Reeds and Emma from Emma Reeds. Or first we have The Red and the Black, a modern library edition. And this is Russian and complete and unabridged. And what I'm thinking about doing in December is doing a Russian themed reading month. I feel like I would like to try that. Do a themed reading month every month. But this is by Stendhal. I don't know. But let me read the little description here. Oh, and this is $1.95. The original price. From the time Honoré de Balzac pronounced Stendhal's preeminence among the novelists of France until today, the author of The Red and Black. Actually, oh no, wait, this is French. This is a French work. I don't know why I was thinking Russian. The author of The Red and Black has retained and spread his influence among writers of every every nationality. His story of Julien Sorel is incomparably the most astute and penetrating study of middle-class mores in all fiction. It is, in addition, a relentless dissection of hypocrisy and opportunism, of an unconscionable upstart as ever violated the seventh and other commandments in order to get on in the world. The modern library brings you the outstanding contributions to literature of the past and present in authoritative editions. Oh, okay, so this talks about the modern library. These particular editions. I've heard of Émile Zola. I think he's French. So, yeah, so I was thinking Russian, but no, I think this is French. This is I gotta look this up so I can get more. And it's complete and unabridged. I prefer reading the unabridged versions of books rather than the abridged. I mean, I know, like, things like Count of Monte Cristo are super long, but I am determined to read abridged versions because I feel like that's the story. And I have such my son with these size books because I think they're cute, this size. But then they're so, like, it's an awkward size too. So I will look up what this is about and what the premise. But I mean, it's a roast office, so it's not that expensive. So this was $4, I think. So okay, so next we have E.M. Forster's The Passage to India, which I still have the other one, E.M. Forster's, the one about the two families. I can't think of what it's called. I'm looking at it. I still have it, thankfully. So I might keep that one. Just since I bought this one. But I keep thinking about this one. Okay, so it doesn't say what the book is about. It just talks about the author. Which is, I know these are great authors and they're classic authors, but it's kind of annoying when, like, they just give you a, Howard's End. Howard's End is the other one I have. Like, when they just give you they don't even give you a description of the plot. They just say, you know, how great the author is and how, you know, what, and basically just talking about the author and how, you know, and maybe talking about this work, saying it's a great work, And it's like, okay, this author is great and all. I know they're good at what they do, and there's a reason this is so this is considered a classic. But it's like, tell me what this book is about. Tell me the plot on the back of the book. Don't tell me how great the author is. You know, just tell me what the book is about. So obviously it's about this English gentleman going to England, I believe, going to India. Which is so weird seeing that, like, it's $1.65. Wow, I had the other one is like also $1 something. I thought that is kind of funny. I like the cover with the elephant. You know, the elephant. That I think is really I like elephants. They're so crafty with their long noses too. So, we actually went to the zoo. We took my nephews and niece to the zoo, and then we saw a couple. We saw a few elephants. Although, there were not a lot of animals, and that was probably not the best time for us to go, because a lot of the animals were sleeping when we went. But it's also, you know, we didn't want to go in the middle of the day, and you know, here in like during the summer, it's like a nightmare to go anywhere, be outside at night. And then we have Perfume, and Emma kept talking about how great this book was. It's like this guy was born with the inability to smell, or he doesn't smell, or he's too demanding and he doesn't smell the way a baby should smell. In fact, he has he doesn't have a smell. But he actually has this really great, you know, sense of smell. He doesn't physically smell himself. Like, he doesn't have a scent, but he can smell, like, he has a really strong sense of smell, if that makes sense. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, so this one is a little more expensive. Not the roast office, but the original price it has on here. It's originally $13, and it's $20 in Canada. It's just so amazing. Everything's so much more expensive in Canada. But I guess because of the way their government is set up, they have to, you know, charge more for products that they sell at places. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Like the healthcare or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know that. I'm just talking. Okay, let me read the back. In the slums of 18th century Paris, a baby is born and abandoned, passed over to the monks as a charity case. But the monks can find no one to care for the child. He is too demanding, and he doesn't smell the way a baby should smell. In fact, he has no scent at all. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille clings to life with an iron will, growing into a dark and sinister young man who, although he has no scent of his own, possesses an incomparable sense of smell. Never having known human kindness, Grenouille lives alone to decipher the odors around him, the complex swirl of smells, ashes and leather, rancid cheese, and fresh-baked bread. That is Paris. He apprentices himself to a perfumer and quickly masters the ancient art of mixing flowers, herbs, and oils. Then one day, he catches a faint whiff of something so exquisite. He is determined to capture it. Obsessed, Grenouille follows the scent until he locates its source, a beautiful young virgin on the brink of womanhood. As his immense quest to create the ultimate perfume leads him to murder, we are caught up in a rising storm of terror until his final triumph explodes in all of its horrifying consequences. Told with a dazzling air of brilliance, Perfume is a hauntingly powerful tale of unnatural passion and sensual depravity. So this was one of the ones I've heard about, but I wasn't sure how I would feel about it. So, but it's not that long of a book. So I appreciate that. For some reason I was thinking it was longer. Like maybe I was getting mixed up with the Crimson Petal and the White, which is a very long, chunky book. And unfortunately, it's a second-person narrative a little bit. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I tried to get into that and I can't. You know, and it's and it's not even that it's unsettling. I just can't get into it. It's just weird, you know? So it doesn't, it's just weird reading a second person narrative or like a, actually, it might not, it's not second person. Second person narrative. It might be, now that I think about it, I don't think it's second person narrative that bothers me. It's the fact that it's, present tense that bothers me. It might be that. I don't know. It might also be second person narrative. But, yeah, like I tried reading that book, The Crimson Petal and the White, and I just could not get into it. So I ended up, it's either, I can't remember. I think I gave it back to them. It might be in that pile. Although I better be careful and save some of those books because I still want to have a reason to go to the Black Castle books and get credit. And I don't have credit, so I have to give them books to get credit. So yeah, I thought that I decided to go ahead and get that. Like I said, I'm surprised it's not as long as I thought it was. But yeah, definitely creepy. It feels like a very October book, but see, books that I could potentially see as books I would read in October. The problem is I also do Victober as well. So it's like, you know, how many books do I read for Victorian literature month, and what books can I read that aren't? How many books can I read that aren't Victober related? You know who I could see play if they adapted this? I could see Jamie Campbell Bower playing that part because he does creepy well. He does a really good job of being creepy. And Dan seemed like a good scene playing the part as well. He has that look where he could look creepy as well as friendly. They both do. They both, for some reason, there's something about their faces that they can pull off the creepiness, but also being friendly and, you know. But they, you know, I imagine though Jamie Campbell Bower for the fact that the guy is probably pretty young in the story, so. Anyway, okay, so that's what I bought. As for my reading for the month, I did read a couple more chapters of Northanger Abbey, and Catherine is going to the Abbey and is really excited because it's like this the idea of going to someone living in an abbey, Northanger Abbey, is such a big deal. It's like so cool, and I believe that her friend Isabella even though she's all about, you know, Catherine's brother James, she's like, I'm in love with him and I want to marry him. Catherine knows that she flirts with Henry Tilney's brother. So it's like, I do not trust that girl. But already we know that their father, the General Tilney, kind of has a bit of a temper. You get the impression that he's kind of mean to bullies his kids a little bit, and he's and he's a general, so he has this strict disciplinary regimen of how, you know, the kids have to be at the dinner table at exactly the right time, and that kind of like the stereotype of, and I don't know if it's true or not, but of those people that, you know, are part of the military and they just can't let go of their they don't let go of their military habits of following a certain schedule and being the exact time. So but yeah, that Catherine is so like impulsive and just so like, she always has this impression of how things are, and there's no guarantee, you know, and has these fantasies about the way life is, and it's not the way, you know, and I'm assuming it's not going to turn out the way she thought it would be, and she's going to be sorely disappointed by life if she keeps living in her little fantasy world. And I get that, you know, wanting to live in a fantasy world, an ideal version of reality. So there's that, and then I'm still continuing with reading Jane Austen, Her Life and Letters. The family is now moved. The Austens have moved to Bath. I read the part when George Austen Jane's father died. And it's so sad and bittersweet to think of that Jane and Cassandra never married. That they were just, you know, it's a good and a bad thing, I think. Because as someone that, you know, doesn't have the eye on marriage, it's not necessarily, I don't think it's always necessarily a bad thing, but considering the world that they're from, they'll be seen as spinsters, so they will be looked down upon as the fact that they're unmarried. They'll be judged by society. And it's also, you know, but, you know, I'm glad that they stick to their morals and their beliefs, and that they don't stick to, you know, get married just because. Which actually, and I also last night watched Becoming Jane, which I don't know how historically accurate that really is. I mean, I do remember hearing that how the relationship with Tom Lefroy was not as passionate as the movie makes it out to be. Which, yeah, it is mentioned, it is talked about a little bit in here. And how Jane talks about marrying Tom Lefroy, or him proposing to her. And the book kind of mentions that you don't know for sure if it was really going to happen or not. But what I do like those movies, like that one and the movie Fur about Deanne Arbus, but they're kind of speculative. Sorry, I cannot say that word. Where it's probably not accurate, but they're kind of fun. They're fun stories to explore and the ideas behind them. Like, again, I always think about Fur, the movie Fur, and how I watched a clip on YouTube a while back. It's like one of my favorite, you know, Nicole Kidman and Robert Downey Jr. movies, and like they do a lot of movies together, but no, they really don't. I like the two of them in the movie. And someone made a comment about, oh, it's not even accurate. And it's like, in the title, it says imaginary portrait. Imaginary. Imaginary means it's not necessarily real. It's just speculative. Sorry, I cannot say that word. It's someone just interpreting things. It's not actually based on fact. And I personally like that because it's kind of fun. Those versions of things are fun. Like Sunny Music, the musical, the family is real. The Von Trapp family were real people, but it's not that accurate. It's just kind of a fun interpretation. And then Greatest Showman was a fun interpretation. It may not be accurate. And like the guy himself, Barnum was not that great of a guy. He's kind of an ass. But it's just kind of fun and lighthearted story. And it's like, I always have mixed feelings about that when people do, because on the one hand, I get why people, they want the actual stuff and they're worried that people will misinterpret it as being fact. But I understand why Hollywood does that, because they're lighthearted and fun. And let's face it, we can't stop Hollywood from having their agenda and just doing things their own way. You know, and it's definitely easier when you don't care as much about the particular thing or historical figure they're talking about. Now, if you care, then yeah, it might be a little harder to accept that Hollywood's gonna, you know, or like, you know, and sometimes they're just no excuse for bad adaptations that they make. Like, I think that's how a lot of people feel about the Percy Jackson movies, so they're hopeful for the TV show that Disney Plus is doing. I was watching a video of the origins of the movie, the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief movie. And apparently it deserved all the criticism it got. So, but yeah, so back to talking about Jane Austen July. So there's that. But it's really cool getting her letter. So it's like you're getting her actual words. You know, there's like, these are samples of her letters. At least the ones that Cassandra did not burn. Which I don't blame her. I mean, considering how several celebrity culture is today, it's probably good that a lot of the letters are burned, because now people that are famous, they're scrutinized so much. And everything that they do, everything they say is looked at with a fine-tooth comb. And they're always criticized. So, Jane might have said there might have been things that Jane would say that people would criticize. So anyway, so that's all I've done for Jane Austen July so far. Maybe today, I want to read a little bit more, and I don't know what, because I decided to go with my parents across the street to our neighbors. They're doing like a movie night. They have like a projector that they put on their garage, I think, and or shed or whatever for the kids. And they have they're gonna grill and stuff. So I decided, I'll go over there this time, and I can always walk back home if I want to, because they literally live across the street. So, my idea of fun is just hanging out by myself, reading books, or getting on my computer. I'm more of a private person, like doing things on my own, unless you are into the same stuff I'm into. But I decided to go ahead and go because I can easily walk back home if I decide not to stay. But so I'm trying to decide: do I watch? I mean, I could always wait until tomorrow to watch any more Jane Austen related movies, because I want to watch Pride and Prejudice and then Clueless, which is the Emma adaptation. The modern Emma adaptation. And then I think I might watch North and South, which actually, coincidentally, my friend just texted me and told me that she is reading Elizabeth Gaskell's North and South, which I was very excited to hear, because it's one of my favorites. In fact, I almost prefer it over Pride and Prejudice. But, so, yeah, it's cool reading this. Oh, and this is a Barnes & Noble Essential Reading. And it is $9.95. So that's what's going on. I have not picked up. So I'm also reading, as for non-Jane Austen works, I'm reading this one, Sanctions, which it kind of reminds me of a Dan Brown novel a little bit. With the premise and the pacing. It starts with this monk from this religious order who he's part of the main order or whatever, and he was given some information that shocked him and traumatized him, and he's like, where's God in all this? And so he's making a bit of a statement, and it's really getting people riled up and getting their attention, and now I know what this symbol has to do with, I think. Whatever, the religious group. So it's very similar. So like I said, it reminds me a bit of a Dan Brown novel in a way, in the fact that it's a religious order, and there's this conspiracy, and I think there's going to be talk of religion and what you believe. So these are really fun. It's not anything, anything like enriching or anything like, mind-blowing or anything. It's just kind of, so far, it's just kind of fun. Something fun to do. So I also have this is the other library book I got. You guys know I got this once, Fifth Avenue by Melanie Benjamin. And she's the author of The Aviator's Wife, which I've seen before, and I thought about it. Getting it. I don't think I talked about my library books in the last video, so. The New York Times bestselling author of The Aviator's Wife returns with... Oh, so this is that... The Aviator's Wife was first. Returned with a triumphant new novel about the New York swans of the 1950s. For some reason I was thinking 1930s. And a scandalous headline making an enthralling friendship between literary agent Truman Capote and peerless socialite Babe Palais. Of all the glamour stars in New York high society, none blazes brighter than Babe Palais. Her flawless face, her regularly graces the pages of Vogue, and she is celebrated and adored by her for an inevitable style and exquisite taste, especially among her friends. The alluring socialite, Swan, Slim Keith, C.Z. Guest, Gloria Guinness, and Pamela Churchill. By all appearance, Babe has it all. Money, beauty, glamour, jewels, influential friends, a prestigious husband, and the gorgeous homes. But beneath this elegantly composed exterior dwells a passionate woman, a woman desperately longing for true love and connection. Enter Truman Capote. This diminutive, golden-haired genius with a larger-than-life personality explodes onto the scene, sending Babe and her circle of swans aflutter. Through Babe, Truman's elite, along with unparalleled access to the scandal and gossip of Babe's powerful circle. Sure of the loyalty of the man she calls true heart, Babe never imagines the destruction Truman will leave in his wake. But once a storyteller, always a storyteller, even when the stories aren't his to tell. Truman's fame is at its peak when such notable celebrities as Frank and Mia Sinatra, Lauren Bacall, and Rose Kennedy converge on his glittering black and white ball. But all too soon he'll ignite a literary scandal, whose repercussions echo through the years. The Swans of Fifth Avenue will seduce and startle readers as it opens the door onto one of America's most sumptuous eras. So there's that. The Swans of Fifth Avenue. So I'm going to check this out. But first, like I said, I wanted to go ahead and read the longer book first. Get that out of the way. And see, this is why I need to just get 2 books from the library every time I go. Because I just have a bad habit of getting like 4 or 5 books. And then I am giving myself anxiety about it. I mean, even 3 can make me anxious. So, especially if it's a book with longer chapters and is a book that's just kind of slow moving. So what's nice about this one is the chapters are really short because of its narrative, so. Okay, so that is my little Thrift Books book haul, another so recent book haul. And, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell notification below to see when I post new videos. I hope you all are doing well and enjoying your reading and staying happy, healthy, and safe. And I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.